go.
You gala. Hello guys, so this is going to be my first impressions video for Eagle Island. Now, I made a game hype about this game about maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. It's been a little bit, and I know I haven't been uploading that much recently. I've been really trying to figure out exactly what I want to do, and YouTube is part of that. I'm just not certain about what yet. So I played this game. I made that little game hype video. I actually played the demo for longer than I played the main game so far. I've only played what I'm going to show on this video today so far, but I actually really like the game from what I've played of it. I'm just not certain about what it is exactly that I'm expecting from the game, I guess, because in some ways I was expecting a Metroidvania from the game because that was how it kind of got marketed to me, but it's not really a Metroidvania. It's more of like a roguelite platformer. You guys will see that in all these clips here that I'm showing her. It's really just one clip. This is unedited gameplay, so you're gonna see me doing a lot of stuff. Like I walk around, I check my settings a little bit, but it's fine. I mostly just want to talk about my experiences with the game and really what I think about what this game could be. I really think the developers were actually a little bit ambitious with this game because they basically went into this and said, we're gonna make a platformer with Metroidvania elements, but not make it a full Metroidvania. We're going to give it hard combat with like challenging controls. And yes, I did play with a keyboard and a mouse. As usually I prefer to play with that setup, even if there's a possibility of a controller. I just prefer that as my controller setup. So they did that. So they said, we're gonna make it not a full Metroidvania. We're gonna make it a roguelite platformer. We are going to make it. We're gonna make it, in this style. And I kind of feel like the developers did take a slight risk with that. I feel like they could have made a safer game, if that makes sense, but they didn't. Obviously, I haven't played that much of this game. I only have about maybe 20 minutes of playtime in this game, but that's why this is a first impressions video and not a review. I'm just giving my thoughts about what I see in this game so far. There have been a little bit of complaint reviews on Steam, and to those kind of reviews, a lot of people are just saying the good old classic Dark Souls get good, and I can see that to some extent. I probably die about 4 or 5 times at least in this video. You guys will see 3 of them on one specific part because I was having trouble landing a hit as I'm not used to the controls. But some people have been complaining about the controls. Some people have been complaining about certain aspects of the game, and I can kind of understand that. But I think overall the game is designed really well. Basically, the way this game works is it's a roguelite platformer, and it's mainly revolved around like this aiming mechanic with your owl, which you guys will see. I get used to it fairly well by the end of this video, but in the beginning, especially if you're using the keyboard and the mouse, it can be a little bit awkward because you're aiming in 8 directions basically, but the way enemies move in the game, especially enemies that like move in like circles, or they have like oval patterns, or like anything that doesn't have a standard axis of movement will basically be hard to hit because of that, because of the way you aim, and that contrasts with the way the enemy moves. But you can get used to it and adapt, just because you aren't instantly able to grasp the controls, that doesn't mean the game is horrible. I think that's kind of like a kind of a silly way to think about that. So, obviously I kept trying. And you'll see what I end up doing in the video. But yeah, so far I will say this right away. I do like this game. I just think that a lot of the stuff about the game is probably it probably will get better as it goes on. Like, I'm sure there are probably some really sick sequences later, some really nice, more nice cutscenes. I like the cutscenes in this game. And I was also kind of happy that they didn't choose to use voice acting, because I feel voice acting would have kind of went weird with this game. They just chose to do text and have little short like scenes like right there where the big hawk thing stole like your other owl or whatever, or Ichiro or Ichigo or whatever. I guess Ichiro, and then Koji's like your main owl. Maybe you get Ichiro back later. I haven't played that far yet, but so basically one thing you're gonna see. So here's where the real combat starts, and see I die right here. Oh my god, lol. But basically, that is one thing I will say, is it kind of feels strange that you only have one, like in the overworld, you only have one hit point. It feels really weird that that's the case, and you see I kind of fail aim a little bit here. You have to really like, you have to really be careful with the way you aim. It doesn't look as easy as it's looking on screen. Like I know it looks like I'm like an idiot or something, but like it's a little bit harder than it appears because the range feels deceptive almost, and the way the directions aim, it makes you think you can hit it like from a certain angle, but you can't. So that's the reason why it looks that way. But you know, so I leave for a second. I go talk to the guy again. I run against the wall. I think I even run around outside again for a minute before I'm like, okay, I have to go back or whatever. Yeah, because they make you, so you're like, okay, I have to go back. I can't like go to a different area. So I had to go back, and I'll figure out eventually how to get past it. You'll see here in a minute. But that's like the basic combat mechanic in this game is that aiming thing with the owl. But yeah, the main thing that I found slightly annoying is I'm not really sure if like you should be like a one-hit kill in the overworld. I'm not really sure if that should be the case. Like you're just like a one-hit kill in the overworld until I'm guessing you can find more health eventually. But I mean, I didn't find anything, and it just felt crazy to be like a one-hit like in a game like this where the way you move is like it's very almost deceptive. Like it looks like I'm bad on screen, and I am bad, but like you'd be surprised how easy it is to die in this game. This game is more challenging than it looks. It looks like a really cute little platform, but see right there, boom, you miss one hit, you know, and if you're not in the right position, you basically you'll die, you know, if you're low HP or you're in the start like I am where you have like one hit. So see right there, that was my mistake. So when you hit something, you can throw your owl again, but I didn't properly aim, so when I landed on the ground, I died to the flower. And you see my friend right there playing Final Fantasy 14 on the side. So I died to the flower again, and I think after this death or the next death is when I start to get into the level. And after that, I don't think I die anymore. After that, I don't believe I do. I finished the rest of the way without dying. But yeah, it's a bit deceptive in terms of how easy it is to be hit and to die, especially in the overworld. Now it's different. So when you get like here, you're gonna see. So you kind of like go into these areas, right? You see how it says Greenwood Glade first run? Basically, this game is kind of like it has aspects of a Metroidvania in some ways, but it's really more of like a roguelite platformer that has sub levels. Because you basically go through the overworld, you find these areas, you enter them, and then you just kind of do runs of these areas. You know, you fight the bosses and stuff. You do runs of these areas, and you unlock different things inside of them. The areas are really kind of like where you see like a lot more of the gameplay. You get these little temporary buffs that you can buy from like the little Raven Crow things or whatever with the money that you get, and you can kind of pick and choose what you want for that area. And you know, sometimes you might choose different things. So in the demo, they showed off a bunch of different buffs. Like there's like 80 plus in the game or something. You have like extra health. I got a bunch of those because I didn't want to die in one hit. You have like extra health. You have like owl range. I think there's like an owl damage one. You have like right there, yeah, healing tier. Koji drops a healing tier when Quill is low or whatever. I wasn't able to really abuse that one. I was confused about how that one worked. But yeah, so you get these buffs. You can buy them from the crow thing, and you can also buy them from like this like. It's like, I guess it's like a bird or something. I forget what exact kind of bird it is in this guy, but you can also buy them from like this bird. Like he comes down and hangs like a sign or like a thing, and then from there like 4 or 5 powers drop down. And you can like buy from those, and you use the other currency on those. I believe you use one currency with the crow and the other currency with the regular bird. I think it's silver for the crow, and the golden little eggs or the golden little coins or whatever they are for the other bird. But basically you use both. Yeah, so yeah, okay, yeah, see, yeah, you use the golden ones with the crow and you use the silver ones with the other one. Yeah, see, so that's Koji flies farther or faster or whatever, and you basically can pick and choose between these powers, and from there you just sort of like kind of create like a miniature build on like what you want. And like you choose from there. So you see, I look at that. You have extra heart. Yeah, toucan trading is a toucan. You get an extra heart, and there's like a bunch of other ones. See, compass. There's a compass. There's a whistle. So That way, if you miss, you're invulnerable, close invulnerable for a brief period. I don't have enough money to buy any of these, so I move on. But yeah, so basically, from what I can tell, these little miniature runs are where like a lot of the gameplay is going to be suited, because from what I've heard, there's like a lot of these in the game, like 12 or 6. There's like a bunch of them. And you see, I made a mistake right there. I lost a heart because I didn't know that he was. I forgot that boars are like a 2-hit in this game, not a 1-hit. Most enemies die in 1 hit, besides bosses, but that boar is a 2-hit. You have to be really careful. Now you also notice that there's a little combo multiplier when you hit something, and basically what that combo multiplier is you have to get 4 in a row to get a heart, or to get like a mana rock or whatever it's called, to use your like special abilities that you get later. And unless you get those combo points, you can't like you don't. It's like very hard to find healing. It might be impossible to find healing. So the comboing matters, and that's something you're gonna have to get used to in this game with the controls, because the combos are a little bit harder to look like than it's to set up than it looks like. There's not that many enemies in each room, so say if there's 4 enemies in a room and you kill one and then you take a second, like that's already like it's already too long. Like if you don't kill all 4 in the room, like in like one go, that's gonna be too long. And right there, like I was getting scared because I was missing, and then I was on the floor with the boar, and I had to like really like spam the key there to not get hit, but I managed it. And so yeah, like the combos are a little bit tougher than they look like, because you basically have to make sure to clear like a whole room of enemies like as you go. Like you see right here, like that's already too late. Like, and I just move on because I already know like that's already too late. Like if you don't kill it right away, you're not gonna get the combo. And I'm kind of, in a way, I was kind of trying to get combos here, but I was too slow, because I knew I had 1 heart and I knew that I did. So right here when I got this, I just decided to replace the healing tier with the heart, because the healing tier wasn't being useful and the heart was going to be. So I just replaced the healing tier with the heart. So now I have 2 hearts again out of 3. So if I healed, I would have 3 hearts. So 3 hits. See right there. See, I managed to get the combo that time, so I healed. Now I'm 3 out of 3. And then I think I even buy a 4th heart here, I want to say. Just to be able to like have the maxed out health, or do I? No, I don't. So yeah, so you go through these levels, and they're pretty simple. This first one's pretty simple, but I'm sure they might get a little bit more complicated later. Maybe there's puzzles and stuff. Maybe they'll just be bigger. Although this was pretty decent for like a first little dungeon or whatever it's supposed to be. Greenwood Glade, I think it's called, or Greenwood Run. I made a mistake right there. Got hit. This game is very punishing of mistakes, and I kind of like that part of it. So I'll say it right now before I even get done with this first impressions. You know, if you're looking for like a challenging platformer to play, this game probably would. You might like this game. This might be good for you, because this is kind of like, the combat is interesting. I like the jumping and the shooting mechanic, and you don't really. There's not that much room for error unless you play on like a lower difficulty. But I'm not the kind of person to do that usually. I usually try to play on normal or harder when I play games. I usually don't like playing on a normal difficulty unless I get something out of it. Like, it's like a game where I don't really care for challenge, and I want to just like play just to like have fun. But a lot of the times for me in a game, like, challenge is fun. Right there, this is an interesting one. So you have a power called Charm. You can open 3 chests for free. So what that means is the next 3 crow chests you find, you can get for free. So I believe I decided to take this because that ancient coin, I didn't know what it did, and I just wanted to see if I could get something better. So right here is a crow. I'm gonna get this for free when I get to it, and that way, you know, you don't have to spend any of your little gold things. I don't think they can be carried outside of the dungeon. I'm not sure about that, but I don't think so. And here I just replaced one of the hearts with another heart, because I don't want to get rid of the shot length, and I already had 2 hearts in the other ones, and the 4th was a charm, so I couldn't really change anything there. Take another hit here, you know. Like I said, the game is punishing mistakes. You have to be careful. Right there, you'll also notice something that should have been fairly obvious. Gates basically have numbers on them. That's the amount of enemies you have to have killed to progress. And if you don't have that number of enemies killed, you can't progress. And to me, that's like slightly. I'm not sure if that's exactly the right way. It kind of like forces you to go a certain route. I kind of wish that wasn't there. That is one minor criticism I have, is I kind of wish that wasn't there, because it doesn't really feel necessary in my opinion. But I guess you could also argue that's there so that the player has like enough power-ups and stuff by the time that they get to the boss, because this is what this is leading to, by the way. That gate leads to the boss. These rooms are going towards the boss room. But that might be the reason that's there. That might be the design decisions behind that. But I'm not really certain if that's the right way to do that, because that kind of like limits like limits your choice. I would almost wish you could just run straight for the boss if you wanted to see if you could take him without it. As to be honest with you, a lot of the buffs, like the biggest buff in my opinion so far that I've seen is really the health buff. As you see, I keep making mistakes, like I keep getting hit, keep making mistakes and getting hit, but I haven't died yet because I have health. Otherwise, I would have died. And when you die in this game, you get reset, like you know, your progress just reset. You go back to the start, so you have to do the whole run over again, which is obviously that's a pain. So having the health buff is a big deal, and the other buffs, you know, some of them don't feel like as impactful. So in my opinion, I would argue really like you should just go for the health, and you should just go for the health and just and just, you know, the other ones aren't really as important. And because of the way this game is, I'd argue the health is better, because you see, like you can't really tell here, but I was like so like quiet, like to myself, like I was just like so focused when I was fighting this boss, because I knew any hit and I'm dead, like any hit and I'm dead. This is a pretty simple first boss, by the way. I will admit I've seen better first bosses in games. One game I really like is Axiom Verge. That game has a really great first boss, in my opinion. All the bosses in that game are really cool, but it isn't really bad either. You defeat it pretty simply. It dies in like 10 or 12 hits, or however many I got on it, and it dies easily. It gives you a bunch of coins, and then after this, you get to see this cool little cutscene where you meet like the lightning hawk or the lightning falcon or whatever. But then the bigger falcon comes and like takes him, but he leaves behind his little lightning feather. So you get this. And this is like one of your first points of permanent progression. This makes you have like a lightning falcon, or it gives you Zafara's feather. It gives you like lightning on your owl, so that it can have like the thing from the demo where it hits everything. Anyway, I really like this game, and I think it'll end up being a really good game in the future. So I'm happy to try it out, and give it a try yourself. Thanks. I'll see you guys later.